I canceled Google Cloud and built my own cloud for $0 a month and total privacy. Here's how I did it. But first of all, I had to pick the actual computer for a cloud server. You can use any old computer laying around, but I used this old Raspberry Pi with 4 gigabytes of RAM I bought back in 2018. But it had no way of storing data. So I could have used a USB key or a hard drive. But I settled on using this unused, years old, 256 gigabyte micro SD card I found laying in the same mysterious box as my Raspberry Pi. So hopefully it works. But without an operating system, this is all just a piece of junk. You can use any Linux distro or even Windows if you like, but I decided to download the Raspberry Pi Linux distro onto the micro SD card. Now I have to program it, but I have no screen or keyboard for it. So we're going to use an SSH connection to send orders to the Raspberry Pi via the terminal. It sounds complicated, but trust me, it's simpler than it sounds. Just copy this command. This is your Pi's user, and it ends with its host name. You yourself set this up during the Raspberry Pi imager and when you accepted SSH connection. I named it after the Greek god of communication, Mercury. Enter your server's password. I'm in. Okay, but what do we do now? First, update and upgrade your app packages. Second, install Samba and accept all requests automatically with -y. But where do we store our data? So third, make a directory for your cloud where all the data will be stored. This is called a share. But we need to program your cloud, so listen closely, since this is the hardest part. So fourth step is to get into the smb.conf file and name your share by typing its new name between those square brackets. You can make more shares if you like, but I'll only make one for now. Provide the path to the share's given folder. Set writable to yes to make it interactable. Set browsable to yes to make it visible. Set public to yes if you want it to be password protected. And finally, you can set the new password and username to log into the cloud with this information. But so far, all your hard work hasn't registered on the network. So load the new configurations by running this command. But unfortunately, you can only access it in your local network and not from anywhere around the world. So I'll make a video on this in the near future. But your cloud is up anyways, so that's what matters, right? But you can't see it in your file explorer. So get your host name and IP by using these commands. You might need them. Now, if you want to connect to the cloud using Linux Fedora, just use the mount command. But on Windows 11, just click on the PC icon, map network drive, then enter the address of your cloud and finally authenticate.